Sports app. So let's go to a team that is out of the playoffs, the Seahawks. Seattle lost Saturday to the Cowboys, and since then, a lot of criticism has come down to the play calling by offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer. Critics are calling out the Seahawks' decision to stick with the running game, even though it was being shut down by Dallas. Pete Carroll addressed the issue yesterday. Let's take a listen.
That's a bunch of garbage. What a terrific football season we had. This was the second highest scoring team in the history of the franchise, I think. Come on. And we outran everybody, and we did not turn the ball. We almost set an all-time NFL record for fewest turnovers in a season. That's discipline and tactics and approach and all that. I get it. Everybody feels bad about it. Brian's a hell of a coach, and he does a great job, and he did a great job with our guys throughout the season, and will continue to.
All right, Skip. Does Schottenheimer deserve the criticism?
He does not, and I must admit, this angers me because I take this as yet another shot at my Dallas Cowboys. It sounds like something Shannon Sharp would cook up. We'll see how he responds. But to me, this was just another attempt by critics of the Cowboys to discount and devalue and ultimately disqualify yet another Cowboy win, as they've won 8 of their last 9 games, and people keep saying, yeah, but they're not that good, they're not that good, they're not that good. What happened Saturday night at Jerry World was Seattle just got beat. It was pure and simple as that. Seattle got whipped physically in what became an extraordinarily physical football game. I'm not saying it was Baltimore at Tennessee, that one game I covered. It wasn't maybe to that level, but that was you were in the middle of that one. That was some hitting going on in that game between two physical teams, but this one was pretty close. These were two very evenly matched 10-6 football teams. And in the end, the Dallas Cowboy lines and both lines of scrimmage just wore down and wore out the two Seattle lines. That's the bottom line to the football game. And I'm going to remind everybody, Seattle led the National Football League in the fewest turnovers. They had the fewest in the league. And they led in the crucial stat, the one that usually determines victory, is turnover differential. They led the whole NFL in plus 15. They had 0 turnovers on Saturday night, and my quarterback did throw one interception that I didn't think was his fault, but we argued about that yesterday, but it did count as an interception. So who won the turnover battle? Seattle did. Who won the game? Dallas did. How did Dallas win the football game? They just did a little better what they do than Seattle was able to do what it did, because I'm going to remind you, Seattle, during the year, led the NFL in rushing. They had the second most rushing attempts, but they led it in rushing. They threw the fewest passes in the whole regular season. But what did Russell Wilson do throwing the fewest passes, fewest attempts? He still had his career high in touchdowns with 35, and his career low in interceptions was 7. So in very few attempts, and that's what, again, Pete Carroll was talking about in defending his coordinator, we were the most efficient team in the National Football League. Well, what happened? I told you what was about to happen. They were going to run into the 5th best rushing defense in pro football. And those two inside backers, they can fly and they can strike. And they were all over the place. And so Seattle tried to run the football and managed only 73 yards rushing. Does that mean they should have chucked everything and thrown out their script and thrown it more? Well, they did wind up throwing it more than they ran it. They threw it 27 times to 24 runs. Again, okay, but some of them came late. But my point is this. They didn't have the ball that much because it was 35-25 and just pure time of possession. And how many times did Russell Wilson throw to what you would consider wide open receivers? Was it the kind of game where you're saying, throw it more because people are open everywhere? I didn't see people open everywhere. I saw 2 great Russell Wilson throws. There were actually 3 or 4, but if we could just look at one late in the first half, DeMarcus Lawrence comes completely free right in Russ's face, and he just blind throws it up the sideline to Lockett. And I'm saying, look at this. How good is that? Awuzie is all over. I don't know how you can cover it much better. Maybe you can find the football faster. But what a sweet throw is that? That's a Russell Wilson special. Is that going to happen every play? Can you duplicate that throw every time? I don't think so. And then early in the third quarter, there's another one. It gets to 4th and 6, and he throws it to Doug Baldwin. Can we see this play? This is, you want to talk about dropping a dime, like to the sideline? with people all over you. And again, Awuzie, can he cover it much better than that? Is he beaten on the play? I don't call that beaten in. Doug Baldwin, who's as mentally tough as any receiver in the league this side of Golden Tate, his ex-teammate, he got he toe tapped, man. Yep. And it was sweet. And that's when I just sat back watching the game and I said, well, that's just too good. Well, do those two plays scream, throw it more, throw it more? No, because Dallas is really good on defense. So you dance with who brung you, if I can use a Texas term. You just
not
keep
Dallas
doing
is good. I thought you didn't like Dallas defense.
Well, I told you they're capable of rising and shining as we saw them against Drew Brees.
Well,
they hadn't been very good since Drew Brees. So this is all losers' lament to me.
No, it's not.
In the end, it's underestimating Dallas's victory to me. And all I hope is this game was so physical, I just hope it didn't take too much out of the Dallas Cowboys.
We don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear no excuses.
Okay.
You see what he's trying to set himself up for, Jenny? Oh, the game on Saturday night was so physical. The physicality in this game, it robbed the Cowboys. I'm not going to let you do that, Skip Bayless.
No.
But I just want you to know right now, I disagree with everything you just said.
Good.
I disagree. And I tell you again, Skip, two things can be true. The Seahawks should have had a plan B, and the Cowboys stopped plan A. No, that's true. Okay, fine. What's the problem? Nobody's trying to minimize. The Cowboys won the game. Nobody's trying to minimize the Cowboys' win.
I don't know about that.
Skip, look, you have to look. I understand, and having gone to the playoffs, played 18 games in the playoffs, and you go into with a game plan according to what you are. How did we get here? But I've also been in the game plan when we go into a game with a game plan and it's not working as far as running the football, and the coach will say, "Okay, let's open it up." Here's the thing with, and Pete was giving you all these stats. We had the almost set a record with the fewest amount of turnovers. That's low risk, low reward. But see, come playoff time, low risk doesn't win you championships. You got to be able to. It's just like boxing. Anytime you throw a punch, you subject yourself to take a punch. Anytime you try to get big plays, you subject yourself to get sacked or to turn the football over. And in games of this magnitude, Skip, you're going to have to open yourself up. You're going to have to open the game up because if you sit back and you see what they were doing is that they were crashing the ends. They refused to let Seattle run the ball between the tackles. That's what Seattle like to make their living. We make our home. We got a nice home here, Skip. We going in between the tackles. Chris Richard.
Not against those two linebackers.
Chris Richard says, look, this is what we can do. Having been there, having understanding of the Seattle's offense, this is what they took away. Okay, you see Russell, there are two occasions. He kept the ball and basically got 8 yards before anybody touched it. How many times we saw it? We saw it twice. And good things happen both times. And at some point in time, Skip, granted, the Cowboys had a great game plan. They said, we're not going to let you run the ball. You see that. You're going to keep banging your head. How many times do you bang your head on the door before you realize nobody's home? You know what? I'm going to come back tomorrow.
How many times have I heard, you got to keep handing it to Zeke even after all those 1 yard gains because pretty soon he'll just wear you down. Well, it could have worn down the Dallas defense, but it didn't.
Well, no, Skip. You just don't keep running. You find different ways to get Zeke the ball. You might toss it to him. You might hand it to him. Zeke, instead of going, you see what Zeke? The middle was clogged. What did he do, Skip? He bounced it.
Yeah, but how many times did I show you in his carries that there were, remember, there were all those other carries, there were 24 other carries that went for 1 or 2 yards? Well, okay, that's just wearing somebody out, okay? Chris Carson is really physical. He runs hard. He runs as hard as Zeke does.
Well, Skip, if you take that 28-yard run, they were at 3 yards a carry. You take that away, they're around 2. That's not nearly good enough because now when you're not running the ball, you're only getting 2 yards a carry. Why am I stepping up again to order the play fake? Because you can't run the ball. We know you can't run the ball. I'm not going anywhere. So, no, Skip, he does play. And Pete, stop it. But Pete also defended Darrell Bevel when he threw that pass on the goal line, too.
Should have defended him.
Exactly.
Should have defended
him. So why should we be surprised that he's defending Brian Schottenheimer?
Well, he said, that's on me. He said, I'm the overseer.
Exactly.
The buck stops here, right?
Look at that. What did I say, Jay?
Pete deserves some criticism for this. He can overrule.
Exactly. Thank you, Skip Bayless.
Did Steve
No, don't do that, Skip. Don't do that.
Steve told you to say that.
Don't
Put
do that,
me on
Skip.
the spot.
Yeah, you see that, Jenny?
Real notes over there.
I
getting
wasn't going to bring that up. I wasn't going to bring that up. But then Skip put it out.
Bring it up.
Who typed up that card?
I did.
Who
I
typed
be in the
it
back.
up?
I be in
You
the back.
typed it up? I don't think you did.
I can bet.
Yeah.
Somehow I
Yeah.
don't picture you with a computer.
I don't either.
One finger?
Yeah.
Two fingers?
Yeah, I pick. I do a little pick.
Okay.
I took typing in high school.
Did you?
And had the
Really?
white paper too. Yeah.
Hunt and peck. Yep.
Yeah.
Way to go. Okay. So you want Russ to just open up the second half and throw it all over the lot, even though Seattle led the football game early in the fourth quarter, 14-10. I don't know how they did it, but they did.
Yeah, I'm just saying. At some point in time, when someone's taking something away, hey, don't you go into the game with a plan B? You go into the game with backup players.
Plan
You don't say,
A was-
if this guy goes down, we're done. Okay, we're done.
Plan
no,
A was working pretty well.
No, it
And then-
was
then
not.
in the fourth quarter, they did open it up and started throwing.
Hold on. I thought you told me they were the number one running team in football. But they had less than 70 yards rushing. And they so how's that working?
Yeah, but they were winning the game, and then when they fell behind, they started throwing it all over the place. They did. He threw it, 11 times in the fourth quarter?
Wow, that's really a lot.
Well, for him it is.
Exactly.
Yep.
Low risk, low reward.
Well, then how did they win 10 games and get to this point? I don't know.
Skip.
Huh?
Here's the thing, though. You have to be able to adapt.
Adapt. Yeah.
Because if you don't, and that's what they were taking away the run. So why would you continuously run the football, Skip? Russell, you told me Russell set a career high in passing touchdowns.
Well, you keep running the football because finally, all of a sudden, somebody will break down somewhere. You said it was a rifle force over on the left that he didn't rifle on, or whatever you call yours.
Griffin, yes.
In the Cowboy terminology, it's called rifle force.
Right.
But it's where the corner's supposed to come up and turn the run inside.
Yes.
And there's nobody home, so you just keep pounding and pounding. All of a sudden, Zeke goes off right tackle, and nobody's home, and he goes for 44 yards. And he did it again later in the winning drive for 17 yards, including a little stiff arm that he got a few more yards.
Should have been able to stiff arm because he shouldn't have been able to get outside.
Yeah.
But anyway,
well, there you go. So, to me, in the end, my quarterback made 2 or 3 more plays than a really great quarterback was able to make. And my running back made a couple of more plays than any Seattle. Just a couple.
The man had 137 yards. He had more rushing yards by himself.
44 and 17 were the couple. The rest were.
Well, that guy, they didn't have 44 and 17 together. So now what?
Well, now what? Dallas advances. Dallas gets to play the Rams on Saturday night on Fox.
You think somebody, see, the way you look at it, anytime someone tells you what another team didn't do, you think that's taking a shot at the team that you root for and what they didn't do.
People have been taking shots at it all year, and they're continuing to try to undercut what Dallas did on Saturday night, and it was highly impressive. They just flat out, they lost the turnover battle and won the war, right?
Whatever.
That's hard to do against
No, it
Seattle.
ain't.
Yeah, it is.
Well, y'all be coming.
Yeah.
But the revenge tour, you said
Revenge
you
tour.
like it.
Yeah, here we go.
Negativity is only going to help
please,
these guys.
Please.
So bring it on.
Saturday night, they owe the Rams for last year.
All right, we're going to move on to